And let's have a review of the previous week. Just a second. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Give it to me. Cool. Right, so softening expressions. As you guys hopefully remember, we had that line graph. Do you remember the vectors thingy? Does everybody remember this?
The square.
Yeah. Does everybody
Roughly.
see? Roughly. Let's have a really quick refresh here then. So did we just lose somebody? Simon, did we? No, Simon's still there. No,
Still seven of us. That's
yeah,
fine.
Sorry, somebody just disappeared from the screen. It came on again. So we can think of the style of speaking in Japanese to be based initially, and I'm sure there's probably other dimensions to this, initially in two dimensions. We've got, for example, casualness at this end of the casualness, and perhaps we can call this friendliness as well here. So this is reserved for family and close friends. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we've got politeness. So you'd think that the opposite of friendliness would be like eneminess, but it's just purely in Japanese in this particular way, that down this end of the spectrum, you would use plain form verbs, maybe use da instead of des. And at this end, we would use the mass form of verbs and using des to say it is. So, and basically speaking in correct Japanese. So this is basically a little bit easier to talk. It's a bit more casual. This way, it's a bit more like making a speech. So you'd be careful of making sure that you correctly pronounce everything. Everything's grammatically correct. And then on another spectrum, we have abruptness and directness here. And then down here, we've got kind of softness, indirectness. Here. Now,
I have the feeling when I ask you, Andy, where are we on the spectrum? I mean something different.
We are definitely on a spectrum. A multitude of them, I expect. Now, you could be anywhere on this plane, really. Let me just quickly draw a little thingy. For example, you might be speaking very, very polite, but also being a little bit abrupt in order to get something across. You might be in a formal situation at work where you're arguing with somebody and you want to maintain politeness because you're not friends with this person, but you also want to be very direct and be very clear about what you're trying to say. So you'd be up this end of that plane. You may completely make a mistake. You may want to be polite, but also be soft and indirect. So this, you might treat this way, you might speak this way, again, in a work situation, but you're now working with people who you get along with, who you have a common understanding with. So this kind of makes sense to be not direct and formal all the time, but at least speak politely. So for example, this would be how I would expect you to speak with your teachers, for example. You know, you want to be polite, but at the same time, you don't want to come across as being too assertive. Down this end, then, well, you get the feel. You get the feel of what I'm trying to say, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. So let's just repeat what I already said. So as a visitor to Japan, softening your speech, or actually as a student of Japanese teachers, softening your speech is a good thing to to do to reduce the assertiveness of what you're trying to say. This is kind of good manners in polite company. For example, you can use kara to mean literally because, so it's fine, but it's a little bit polite, it's a little bit direct. Node is a good way of softening the word because. So to create a sentence with node, we put the verb in the plain form plus node, and then you've got something which sounds more like, not because I am busy, I cannot go to the meeting. It now sounds more like, as I am busy, I cannot go to the meeting. It's a little bit less clunky. So in this case, iku no de junbi shimasu. As I will go, I will start preparations. Iku no de junbi shimasu. With e adjectives, we can just use node with the e adjective. For example, atsui no de koto o nukimasu. As it is hot, I will take off my coat. Piotr, you've disappointed me at this point in time. I'm surprised you haven't said, as node looks like a kind of te form, shouldn't this be atsukute koto o nukimasu? I'm surprised you haven't said this.
I don't see node as a te form, actually.
It's kind of te form. It's giving reason. It's kind of a te form, but not quite a te form. But if you hang around for 20 minutes, that's exactly what we're going to do anyway. And then na adjectives. So we can treat these nouns include na. Oh, sorry, for na adjectives and nouns, we add node, but we also include na. So benri na node, as it is convenient. Sobetsukai means farewell party. Sobetsukai na node. So sobetsukai is a noun. Sobetsukai na node.
Sorry, Andy.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you use node with a noun, does it mean as this is a ...
Exactly, yeah. It's a bit like saying, for example, in this case, sobetsukai, if you use the kara form, you'd say sobetsukai des kara, as it is farewell party, blah, 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 blah. Softening this, we just say sobetsukai na node. So it basically means the same thing, as it is a farewell party, blah, 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 blah. Let's get drunk really, really early in the evening. Yeah. Okay, so far, guys. Okay, that's the end of the node bit. It is and I will do as verbs are also softened to make them less certain. For example, des, which means it is, I am, we are, is transformed to desho if we're being polite, and daro if we're being casual or friendly, down the left-hand end of the spectrum. Actually, this is pretty neat, isn't it? Just a second, let's go back to the whiteboard. If we do des as our sample, we can put this in each of these squares. So abrupt, direct, and polite here, this is what? Top right quadrant. What's it is in Japanese? Des. Exactly, just des. Oh, what we're doing. Yeah. What about polite, soft, and indirect?
Desho.
Desho. Good. Direct and let's see. Let's do this in a good way. Casual and direct. Da, well done, good. And casual and soft.
Daro.
Daro. Excellent. Good. Well done, guys. So we can do all of these this way. Finally, we can soften it again by putting something on the end like to omoimasu, I think. So this can also be added to plain form verbs, adjectives, adjectives and nouns. Sorry, we can just add this directly to verbs and adjectives. So we can say iku to omoimasu, atsui to omoimasu. But for na adjectives and nouns, we need to put the plain form of des before it. So da or daro for na adjectives and nouns before to omoimasu. For example, I think it is convenient would be benri da to omoimasu. I think it is a birthday. Tanjoubi da to omoimasu. You're confused, Joe? Or is that wind?
I'm just trying to read it.
Okay. Sorry, this is basically two sentences in one section. So to omoimasu can be just simply added to the end of plain form verbs and adjectives.
Right.
But for na adjectives and nouns, we need to put da or daro after the adjective or the noun.
But the daro is going to be the softening or is the abrupt?
Exactly,
The
it's softening. Yes,
okay.
Exactly this. Yeah, yeah. And then finally, to make something even less assertive, even less sure, is to use kamoshiremasen, which means kind of I guess. Again, this can be added directly after all grammar types. So after all verbs, adjectives, nouns, you don't need to use da or na. You can just make the exclamation. Atsui kamoshiremasen, iku kamoshiremasen, benri kamoshiremasen, sobetsukai kamoshiremasen. Just simply goes after a grammatical term.
Verbs in the plain form as well?
So, yes, verbs in the plain form. Yes, exactly. In any tense as well, Luke. Oh, no, sorry. Ignore that. Only for plain form, future tense. Itta kamoshiremasen. Itta kamoshiremasen. Maybe any tense is okay. Czy masz pytania? No? Avez-vous des questions? No? Cool. Let's do some quick examples, then we get on to today's nibbling. Okay, let's go through these together, shall we? So using this softening expressions, Luke, would you like to go first? As it is hot, could you open the door, please?
Atsui desu. node.
Node, just node. Yeah.
暑いので、
Mhm.
ドアを開けてください。
Good, good, good. Guys, you might remember actually that if this part here is a request or an excuse, an apology, a reason for something, then this makes this part here especially suitable for node instead of kara, because what you want to do is soften your expression in order to prepare the person for a request, for receiving a request. So this is especially a good time to say atsui node door o akete kudasai instead of atsui kara door o akete kudasai. Atsui kara door o akete kudasai sounds like the person has an obligation to open the door because it is hot. Atsui node means, as I'm a bit hot, would you mind opening the door? Cool. Jock, as it is convenient, let's go by train.
便利なので
Good.
電車で行きましょうか。
電車で行きましょうか. Good. Piotr, as it is a funeral, you should wear a black suit and tie.
I actually think I had this one last time as well because I still don't remember what funeral is.
Soshiki.
So
But it's often honorized with
Gososhiki?
it's ososhiki.
Ososhiki.
Do you know that whether to choose or go is completely it relies on quantum non-exclusiveness?
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. If you think it's or, it's go. And if you think it's go, it's or. You'll always be wrong. Doesn't matter which one it is. Yeah.
So you really want to learn them by heart.
Yeah, or by practice. Yeah, yeah.
Ososhiki, I'm assuming nanode.
Good. Nanode.
Kuroi sutsu to no, sorry, not sutsu. Or is it?
Sutsu is fine. The word we used to use was sebiru, but
Sebiru.
most people say sutsu these days.
Sebiru was more of a like a school uniform, right?
What is it actually? I mean, it's any
Sibiro.
sebiro. Sorry, sebiro.
Sebiro.
Yeah, yeah. It was any suit because it was a Japanization of Savile Row. Weirdly,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
Kuroi sutsu to necktie o. And then in this case, I would just use kiru. So this is kite kudasai.
Or if you want to say it, you should. It would be best to.
Would that be kita hoga ii desu ka?
Yes. Perfect. Exactly this. Yeah. Good. Wayne, as Matsuoka Sensei wants to drink a Coke, could you go to the vending machine, please?
I know I'm going to get this wrong because let me just go for it. Matsuo Sensei Coke nomitai no de.
Matsuoka Sensei ga koku. Sorry. Koku o nomitai
Nomitai no de.
no de. Okay.
自販機来てください。
What verb did you use?
自販機
Hi. So I've got that, but what's the verb you said?
行く行ってください。
Ite kudasai ne? Hi.
行ってください。はい。
Yeah, good. Okay. This is grammatically, this is fine actually. I don't know
But
if
the
you were-
want bit, I know is wrong.
yeah, so this is what you might remember is we got this verb garu.
Yeah.
Garu.
Yeah.
So not nomitai, but nomi. To remember how to make this into the third person.
No, unfortunately not.
Can anybody help?
上がる、飲みたがる。
So
飲みたがっている。
nomitagatteiru desu ne? Yeah.
Hi.
So as it's third person, we need to make this into the present continuous form of garu. Nomitagatteimasu kara. Nomitagatteiru no de. Jihanki ni ite kudasai. Yeah, this is good.
Hi.
Good. Simon, it's an old book, I guess.
古い本かもしれません。
Yeah, good. かもしれません. Good. And as that was easy, Simon, you can do this next one as well.
来年、カナダに、行くかもしれません。
知りません.
行くと思います。
Good. Excellent. 行くと思います. Excellent. Cool. Constantina, you should buy a new car, I think.
新しい車、かもしれません。
Sorry, you broke off in the middle. Can you say again?
新しい車、I'm thinking where I'm gonna put the verb. 買おうかもしれません。買ってかもしれません。
Well, that means I think I will buy a new car, but how do you say you should buy a new car?
Geez, that I don't remember. Why I don't remember? 欲しいです。
That means I want you to buy a new car. I'll give you a clue. The answer's already on the screen. The answer's actually already on the screen. This has already been answered, this kind of problem.
Okay. Okay, okay, I saw it. 新しい車を買った方がいいです。
But I think.
いいかもしれません。
Okay. Cool. And Constantine, as you're at the bottom of the list, you get to do this last one as well. I guess it's a black swan. They must be very rare.
Oh, geez. Okay, swan, rare.
Hakucho is it long or?
Hakucho. Yeah.
Guys, is it hakucho or hakucho? Is it long or short?
Swan. It's typical side. Hakucho is long.
Long. Thank you.
And red is mesurasi.
Good. Yep.
Okay. So I guess it's okay. Kuro. Why you deleted the word? I didn't remember. Hachu.
Hakucho.
Hakucho.
Yeah. Just think of Nakayama Hakucho.
Hachiko.
Hachiko. It's not Hachiko. Hachiko's something else.
No.
Hachiko's the city.
Hakucho.
Mm-hmm.
かもしれません。Must be very rare. I forgot it. 珍しいとっても珍しいの。めっちゃお魚スタイル。とっても珍しいです。でも、だろう。
Okay, good. Yeah. Guys, there's a way of, you see in this second subclause here, they must be very rare. They must be is kind of a funny English way of saying surely. Would you agree? You're asserting an opinion, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a single Japanese word we can use to represent this certainty.
Is it asking for confirmation?
A little bit. Kitto, exactly. It is asking for kind of confirmation. It's asserting something without 100% certainty. It's kitto, surely. So this means I'm sure it is, but I could be wrong. And it's this kitto. Luke, you've frozen, I think. Is it very cold in Belgium?
It must be, apparently.
Yeah,
It's minus 27 here.
really.
Yeah, and the windows are open.
By the way you're moving, it looks like minus 273 degrees Celsius.
Oh, ho, ho.
Absolutely. Okay. Guys, any questions on this subject? Cool. I mean, we use, as we're working through the Japanese for Busy People book, then we'll use more and more of this kind of softening language anyway, because it's very conversational. Okay, let's go on to the next thing for today. Are you still there, Luke? Because your camera's
Yes,
stopped.
I'm still here, but I
Okay.
think I'll have to log in again.
Sure.
Yes.
It's so cold. Lights have stopped.
Yeah, photons are dropping on my head.
Are you sitting in a singularity?
Leaving.
See you in a second. We'll wait for you.
I have to stop myself from making okay jokes.
Very good, very good. Okay, we can at least have a look at areas. Hello. Bonjour. Hello, Luke. Luke, you're a bit slow. Oh no, it's just you, isn't it? Right, on to today's. This will feel slightly familiar, I think. So the subject is the te form to give reason. Now, this is a rare occasion in that to understand this well, I'm going to ask you to think in English, which I'm sure, as all of you are perfect English speakers, you do pretty much anyway. But I'm going to have to use English grammar to kind of help to explain this particular section. So you probably realized before, we've used the te form in verbs, in e adjectives with kute, with na adjectives with de, to mean something and something. For example, using in a verb form, tabete ikimashou, which means the te form means and. So tabete ikimashou means let's eat and go. Okay. In using the kute form with an e adjective means it is both some adjective and another adjective. For example, atsukute karai desu. It's both hot and spicy. What are you laughing at, Constantina? You talking?
I'm lagging so much. I don't know if you get it, but it arrives so slow, your voice and my responses.
Is that because I'm just talking slowly, or because
No,
I'm slow?
no, it's because my laptop is.
Okay. Okay, okay. And then with a na adjective example, benri de nigiyaku desu. It's both convenient and lively. Now, in English, and can be used in a way to mean because. It doesn't have a direct meaning like this, but if I show you some sentences, you'll see exactly what I mean. For example, the theatre is full and I can't find a seat. So think about this sentence for a second, what it actually means. These are not two disconnected subclauses. They are connected by the and, not simply the theatre is full and then I couldn't find a seat. This is saying the theatre is full and I can't find a seat, meaning I can't find a seat because the theatre is full. Do you get this? Do you get this sense from the English sentence? Okay, good. I'm hot and I don't feel well. Again, these two are this sentence is indicating there's a connection between being hot and not feeling well. We're going on holiday and looking forward to it. Again, these are two connected subclauses. It's not that something is going to happen and then something else will happen. It's we are looking forward to it because we are going on holiday. If you get the sense in English, then it's very easy to transfer this over to Japanese because we simply are going to use the te form to indicate, what's the word? Effect or cause from one to the other.
Relation.
The causal relation, thank you, exactly this, yeah. So in these above, the outcome, which is the second subclause, and the reason is the first subclause. So they're not two disconnected statements, such as, my name is Andy and I live on the moon. This would be a completely disconnected statement. This is just two facts put together in one sentence without any causal relationship. So in the Japanese, we do exactly the same thing, just using the te form of the verbs and adjectives to provide a reaction or reason to the following subclause. For example, Hito ga takusan ite, Linda-san ga yoku miemasen. So, Jock, would you like to just translate that?
There are many people and I can't see Linda.
Excellent. Yes, good. So
Well,
this is
well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't see Linda. So this is showing a causal relationship. There are so many people that I cannot see Linda, but the form of the sentence is just using the te form, as if these were sequential events. We can also use de for nouns, just the same way that we use de for adjectives, to say an event or something de, and then the outcome from that.
So for the te, we need to have a correlation between the two sentences. We need to, it's not like the example that you made, my name is Andy and then live in moon. We cannot use the te like that.
Correct. So if you said my name is Andy and I live on the moon, this would be watashi no namae wa Andy des ski ni sundemasu. But I'm just wondering how to kind of do this. If you wanted to make two disconnected statements intentionally, using, for example, e adjectives, then you could use she. Do you remember we did for example, Thailand wa atsui shi, prices tekka ga hikui shi. We can just make a kind of list to say these are disconnected factors, disconnected descriptions about this thing.
Yeah, but the she is like making the list, not for.
Right, but it's emphasizing a disconnection between those items.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you might be asking, or what might be going through your heads at the moment is, what's the difference between using te for simply and, like a sequence of events, and because? Well, actually, it doesn't really matter too much, because even in English, there's no clear difference between the theatre is full and I can't find a seat, and the theatre is full and I've just gone and bought some beer. The connection, whether there's a causal relationship or not, is inferred by the sentence through context, not through what you write or what you say. The meaning of the sentence tells you whether or not there is a causal relationship, not the grammar within the sentence. How are we doing, guys? Is it all fairly clear?
No, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We have to suck it up and continue.
Good. I like this attitude. Yeah. Any questions? Good. Let's try some, shall we? Piotr, are you sure you don't have any questions?
I'm trying to process. The questions will come later.
Okay, Simon, you sometimes also challenge my own English grammar with questions. Anything you want to ask?
Oh, I mean, I do have a remark about what you wrote, but that's something else.
About Linda? It's not your Linda, don't worry.
No. I was wondering, is it looking forwards to something or forward to something?
I'm looking forward to it. I learned I'm looking forwards to it with an S. I'm looking forward to it. But people often say I'm looking forward to it without the S.
Okay.
Yeah. Possibly it's Americanized English, I don't know. But you hear a lot of people these days saying, I'm looking forward to going to Asia next year. But I was originally taught I'm looking forwards to going to Asia next year. But it's English. How many different versions are there?
Yeah.
I know it's completely interrelated with all this, but I thought it was forwards. It's like a direction, but forward is for event. Like I'm looking forward going there, but go forwards for finding this and that. That's what they told us at least.
Let's see, go forward 2 steps, go forwards 2 steps.
Those two are interchangeable, right?
They are interchangeable. Yeah. Go forward 2 steps, go forwards 2 steps. Again, I remember, earlier in my life, people would say, go forwards 2 steps. Jock, what do you think?
I'll have a look in a grammar book, if you like, after.
For English?
In fact, I'll go and get it now.
Sure, okay, this could be Jock's English Corner.
So generally, these two, even in various dictionaries, are set both for adverbs and adjectives as synonyms.
Right.
Really interchangeable.
Oh, okay.
But it's just that I've never seen the for me set expression of looking forward or forwards to something. But I was Googling that as well, and apparently if you look at the Google Trends, it's been used less and less with the S, but it has been used, so technically it's not incorrect, I think. But
I'm guessing that America has used forward more and more, and that's becoming de rigueur.
No,
It's the
nothing
same
else.
thing with,
Go ahead, Wayne.
I think it's the same thing with away and always.
Right, yeah.
Bill Bryson says nothing on the subject.
That's it then. Jock, Piotr was just saying that in the dictionary, forwards and forward in both their adverb and adjective forms are synonyms. So even the dictionary seems to say that they're completely interchangeable these days.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a go at these then. Why have I put these in Japanese? Here's the answers, guys. You have to come up with the questions. What's the quiz show called again? What's mine? No, what's it? What's the Miss American quiz show where they give the answers and you have to...
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy, right? Yeah. Oh,
What is, because the announcement is
I don't know why. I was rushing these questions out this morning. I must have started in Japanese and just ended up just doing the whole lot in Japanese. Piotr, うるさくてアナウンスがよく聞こえません。
So because the announcement is loud, I can't hear well.
No.
Okay.
What's urasai?
Because
So-
it's noisy.
Oh,
and busy,
urasai.
right?
Sorry. Urusai.
No, it is urusai. So.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Because it is loud, I can't hear the announcement properly.
Yeah, because it's noisy.
Yeah.
I can't hear announcement. Cool. And Wayne, それを聞いて安心しました。
I'm relieved to hear that.
Perfect. I'm relieved to hear that. シモン、劇場がいっぱいで席が見つけられません。
劇場?
Is theater.
Uh-huh.
What are you stuck on, Simon?
So ippai was one glass or something?
Right, yes. It's a counter for one glass, but it also means full.
Lots.
Yeah, or lots. Yeah.
Right, so because the theater is full?
Yeah.
I cannot find, I guess, a seat.
Yes, good. Seat かもしれませんね。Good.
That's the
Constantina?
same as a stone.
Seki? Yeah. So Seki, but this is the Chinese reading of stone. If you have the stone by itself, this is Ishi. Yeah. So Seki is usually found in compound kanji. Yeah. Constantina. 暑くて調子が変です。
Because it's hot. Choose, I have no idea. I have to look it up, and it's mood, condition. It's weird.
Yeah. So this is one way of saying, one of many ways of saying, I don't feel well.
Okay. So because it's hot,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good. Okay.
Actually, well, just to improve our vocabulary, because this might well be something that you say if you're in Japan and you want to express the fact you don't feel well. This is often expressed as e ga b des, and then there's a whole list of A's and a whole list of B's. The A's include kibun, which means your inner feeling, choshi, you can probably also just use kimochi.
The feeling.
Yeah. And then for B, the adjective you use, you can use hen for strange, warui,
Yokunai.
yokunai, yeah, yokunai desu ne. Hai. Yokunai desu ne. Hai. And so all of these are interchangeable.
Okashi.
Okashi, yeah, good. Okashi desu ne. Yeah, because it's hot. So therefore, Constalinka, because it's hot.
Because it's hot, I'm not feeling well.
Good. Feeling well. Cool. Luke. I'm sorry, give me a second to clear up slightly. 海外旅行に行って楽しみにしています。You're muted, Luke.
Because I'm going to travel overseas or abroad. Going to travel. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, good. Cool. Jock. 忙しくてイライラしています。
Because I'm busy, I'm pissed off. I'm annoyed, angry, unhappy, pissed off.
Yeah, anxious is also expressed with ira ira.
Would that be irate?
Yeah, irate is also, which is conveniently looks like ira ira, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Piotr, 駅が遠くて不便で帰りが疲れます。
So as the station is far, kairi wa nan desu ka?
帰りは帰るの名詞です。sorry. ごめんなさい。スペリング間違いです。帰り。
そうそう。疲れません。Fuben was like not Benry, but the other way. So
inconvenient. Yeah.
Skareru is to be used? No.
To be tired, to become tired.
Oh, sorry, Jesus. Yeah. So as the station is far, wait. So I'm tired from the inconvenient way back.
Okay, so I'm tired, or it is tiring. Is maybe a better way of saying this. It is tiring.
So so there are two TEF forms here. So as the station is far, it is inconvenient, and I'm therefore tired of the way back.
Mm-hmm. I put this in here because I anticipated that you guys were going to be saying because in your answers, but this is problematic now because we've got two TEF forms, and now you're trying to work out, are these two connected? Is one the cause of the other, or are they two of these both contributing to the final subclause? Which is it? And yeah, don't use because, just use and you get an answer which is
the station is far and it's inconvenient and I'm tired and I just want to whine me.
Exactly. Yeah. You can it gives you the necessary vagueness in the sentence that this is supposed to be giving you. If you put because in there, it makes it very specific. You don't want to be specific. You want to say it's far, it's inconvenient, it's tiring, and you infer the connection from the meaning of the sentence, not from the grammar.
Because even in English, if you said the station is far and it's inconvenient, I would still not know what part of it is inconvenient specifically.
Right. Is it the distance, or is it the fact there's no entrances? It doesn't matter. It's you're trying to infer some vagueness about it. Twitch. bloody physicists.
Okay, so the station is far and it's inconvenient, and I'm tired from the way back, from the return.
And inconvenient, and therefore this is tiring.
So where's the kairi?
Returning, going home is tiring. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we spent nearly a year and a half, must be coming up to 2 years now, of being very precise in our Japanese. But the reality is, with all languages, regardless as to how precise they are, they're never precise, are they? They're always vague. So we should get used to this idea of something being vague, because we'll be hearing these sentences, even if we don't make them this way ourselves. We've got to be able to sense whether or not a sentence is giving cause and effect, or unrelated connections, or sequence. We just need to infer it from the meaning of the sentence. For example, we had a really good example earlier, the one that Wayne did. それを聞いて安心しました. This small sentence here, それを聞いて安心しました, is full of non-specificness and vagueness. So this 聞く, does this mean hear, listen, ask? Is the subject? Is it me, you, or someone else? And is the anshinshimashita, which means to be relieved, again, is that me, you, or somebody else? But if you hear this, sore o kiite anshinshimashita, everybody who's Japanese would realize this means I'm relieved to hear that, what I heard. Yeah. You've got to just know this from practice, really. Yeah. Right. Let me just make some space.
Languages, yay!
Yeah, well, you know, you're in the upper echelons of a language, so this is where all the difficult parts start to happen around vagueness. Okay, where were we? That was yours, wasn't it, Piotr? Wayne. いっぱい食べて満足です.
Because I ate a lot, I'm satisfied now, or I'm happy now.
Yeah. So let's now make this. Let's now put these answers in the form in the vague form that they're intended. So just using and.
I ate a lot, and I'm happy now.
Yes, lot. And actually, the word I'm thinking of is I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, this would be something like I'm full and I'm satisfied. Good. Simon. 天気が良くて気持ちいいです.
The weather is nice and I feel good.
Yeah, good. Constantine. 新しい車が高くて今年は買えないです.
Free translation, the new car is because it's expensive this year, I won't buy it.
Yeah, but let's avoid using because this is specific.
Okay, so this year, no, I'm gonna start at, okay. Let me just plot it in my head.
Yeah.
New car is expensive and I won't buy it this year.
Good. New cars are expensive and I won't buy one this year. Good. Excellent. Luke, let's give you one as you have only done one so far. Camera. Yeah. Dame de. 顔が見えないです。はい。You're muted, by the way, Luke.
My camera is broken.
Okay, so yeah, so this is the meaning of the first part. It's the second part which tells you whose camera or what camera is broken there.
見えないね。顔 is face.
Good.
My camera is broken. I can't see your face.
Good, good. So somebody's camera is broken, and I can't see your face. Yeah, exactly. Good. Let's just go back a little bit, guys. I just want to go back to the ones that we've already done. Let's now refresh these. Sorry, give me a second. Let's move my screen around. So let's look at this one here. Urusakute announcer ga yoku kikoimasen. So originally we had because, but now let's clear that up and say not because, just and. I think this was your one, wasn't it, Piotr? Let's reform this back into English, but this time using this non-specificness.
So it's noisy and the announcement can't be heard properly.
Good. And the announcement. This one was perfect. This one was Simon's, wasn't it? Gekijou ga ippai de seki ga misukeraemasen. Simon?
Oh, sorry. The theater is full and I cannot find a seat.
Good.
Actually, the one underneath is like, I cannot see it.
This is a verb. This is a verb for Borat. I cannot seating. I cannot cheat.
Oh, Manuel from Faulty Towers.
Yeah. I cannot cheat, Mr. Faulty.
Eventually he'll learn.
Konstantina. 暑くて調子が変です。
It's hot and I'm not feeling well.
Good. Good. And Luke. 海外旅行に行って楽しみにしてます。You're muted.
I'm traveling abroad and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Just for you pedants. And Jock, 忙しくてイライラしてます。
I'm busy, so I'm anxious.
Yeah, I mean, just I'm busy and I'm anxious. Yeah. Okay, the rest of them are fine. So the reason why I avoided the use of so is because if it's, I mean, this does mean I'm busy, so I'm anxious, but it also means using the te form. It could mean I'm busy and my name's Jock. It could be two completely different, disconnected things. You could still use kute here. The point I'm trying to get across is that because we want to leave ourselves free for inferring a connection between them and also not inferring a connection between them, we use te. So if we translate this back into English just using and, then we're not tying ourselves to inferring a relationship between the two things. Yeah.
I do have a question.
Hooray!
So you can be happy. No, because and is not exactly the same thing as the te form in the sequential meaning. So if we use it as a sequential connection, we specifically mean that the first action, especially if it's verbs, happens first, and then like the example tabete
ikimasu ne? Hai. Yeah.
So we eat first and then we go.
Yes.
But now we actually make sentences. For example, kaigai ryoko ni itte, which happens in the future, tanoshimi ni shitemasu, which happens now. So we reverse the timing. So
right.
Before we couldn't do that because it was clearly sequential in one way.
Good. Yeah.
So that means if we switch it, it kind of has to be a causal relation, because otherwise it doesn't work.
Right. You're absolutely correct with verbs. Verb, te, verb. Yes, you're now exclusively either going to do it in sequence, in which case the tenses are critical. If they're different, in fact what we actually went over this a few months ago of using verb te and also e adjective kute, is that what comes afterwards, if this is a verb here or a verb here, if we don't have this the tense in the right order, this is usually an emotive reaction in both the in both verbs and also in adjectives as well. So yeah, here is my emotive reaction. So for example, if you said atsukute koto o nugimasu, how is this different to atsui no de koto o nugimasu? I know this is combining an adjective and a verb rather than a verb and a verb, but this is giving justification, and this is providing and basically sorry, is it the right way around? Sorry, this is justification. This is justification here, almost like you're asking to be excused while you take your coat off. Excuse me taking my coat off, I'm hot. Whereas this one here is merely stating an emotion or an intention because of the first subclause.
So if I understand you correctly, you would say atsui no de. You would use this justification if the fact, the explanation of why you do it is somewhat undisputable, is a fact.
Correct.
And
correct.
If you want to say, well, I perceive it so that I am hot, so that's why I take my coat off, but maybe you are not hot, then you would prefer the first one.
Exactly this. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're not sure if others feel the same way, you use te. If you are sure that this is like a fact, then you use no de.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
More or less.
kind of, yeah. I just remember that when we did this before, when we used the kate and te, that most of, I mean, this is more to do with language style than pure grammar. It was just that this following bit was a stated emotion or intention, rather than, like you said, a stated fact or a clear action that's going to take place. Yeah, so for example, atsukute koto nugimasu, this probably would be better stated as nugitai desu, yeah, rather than nugimasu, yeah. Cool, okay, I'm done, guys. Any questions?
I had one, Andy.
Sure, go ahead.
Kainai, would it not mean I cannot buy?
Kainai. Atarashi kuruma ga takute kotoshi wa yeah, sorry, yes, you're correct. Let me just a second. Yes, I can't, sorry, you're right. I can't buy one this year. Yeah, correct. In fact, this is also another, isn't this also, if it was kawan, atarashi kuruma ga takakute kotoshi wa, oh no, this would still be a future point here. Yeah, cool. Yeah, anything else, guys? This is actually, we're going to continue this next week, actually, because there's more to this. There's also a little bit about using, I'll just quickly remind myself what was in the chapter that I wanted to go over. Yini choko. Ah, yeah, right. So we'll come on to this next week, but we also use the te form, this exact thing, same kute, te, kute, de, to also state status. For example, suwatte tabemashou. Suwatte tabemashou. Now this means literally, let's sit down.
Let's sit and eat.
And eat, yeah. But like you just said, Konstantina, it doesn't mean let's sit down and then let's eat. It means let's sit and eat. It means let's eat in the status of sitting down. So we use this te form in this case as well. But we'll cover this a bit more next week because this is really.
Otherwise say tabete ni suwaro.
To tabe ni suwarimashou. this could be the same sort of thing, but this now says
let's sit down in order to eat.
Yes, instead of let's eat by sitting. Yeah, let's eat while sat.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat by sitting.
Sometimes if you've got a toothache, you need to take food in various different ways. You can't always go through your mouth. Anyway, with that thought in mind, I leave you to the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.お疲れ様でした。
ありがとうございました。
お疲れ様でした。またね。バイ。
またね。